Welcome back to another episode of Global Card Collectors, and today I have another Kiwi card collector. He goes by the handle, is it Kiwi Cards, right?
Card
Or
Kiwi.
Card Kiwi, that's it, Card Kiwi. His name's James, and welcome to the show, buddy. How you doing?
Yeah, doing great, thanks, man. How are you?
Yeah, I mean it's exciting to get a new voice on here just to hear what they have to say. So let's just get started with the most obvious question, and then we'll go from there. How did you become a card collector, man?
I think like a lot of Kiwis growing up in the 90s, cards were quite a big thing, you know, like especially NBA cards.
Mm-hmm.
There was rugby league cards,
Yep.
collecting stamps and things from the service stations when they had promotions for rugby and things like that. And it kind of started then. You just try and scrounge some pocket money off mum to go and buy some cards down at the local card shop down here in Rotorua. And yeah, it kind of just grew from there. It's like any kind of thing like that. You just get addicted to it, and you know you kind of spend all your time trying to save money so you can buy some more cards. And yeah, that's where it started, man. I started with NBA and then kind of grew into a bit of Yu-Gi-Oh and some Pokémon through those early years, and then
Cool.
yeah, left it alone for a long time after that until here we are again.
When did you end up picking card collecting back up again?
Around 2021, 2020, 2021,
Right.
through that COVID
Okay.
period, like a lot of
Yeah.
people.
Yeah. Me
A
too.
few of my friends, they started talking about it, and I was like, man, I used to have heaps of cards. And so went and got them from my mum's place and pulled them all out, and then just the nostalgia hit, like yeah, like this the common story with a lot of people really. And then I decided that I'd go through them and started to value a few out, and then sold that initial bunch that I had, so that I could kind of upgrade my collection, and that's kind of where it started again.
Great. What binder finds did you get? Any big cards that you ended up selling in that initial look again?
Well, not really anything majorly big, like a lot of 90s cards, just standard, some really cool inserts and things. But back here in New Zealand at that time when we were all in lockdown, the card scene online was going nuts, and so all these
Yeah.
cards that we thought weren't worth that much, just they actually were. And so yeah, I kind of sold most of what I had. Some of the stuff I liked. There was some old like rugby and rugby league cards that I held on to.
Mm-hmm.
But most of the stuff that I thought I could get rid of it without affecting my kind of nostalgia, I did. And so I sold that lot and I made $750 New
Oh,
Zealand.
great.
And
That's great, man.
that was my starting point, man. So yeah, that was how I got back into it.
And then you can just justify all the buying now. Going, well, it's an investment. I can sell it later on. That's what I end up
Yeah,
doing.
well, yeah, I haven't put any of my money into it from that 750. So
Wow,
from that 750, I've pretty much bought and sold all the way up to what
that's
I currently
great.
have. Yeah, yeah.
That's
So I
great.
kind of made that a bit of a rule for myself. So build it up from all those little cards into slightly bigger ones, Yeah.
That's a really good model, actually, and it's hard to do. But I guess you have to be disciplined, and you got to be really selective with what you want to get too. Because to be honest, I've bought a lot more than I've sold, and I've
Yeah.
put quite a bit of money into it. But in my head, I would try and justify it with it's an investment, that kind of thing. But I love
Yeah,
ripping
yeah.
packs. I love getting new cards and those kinds of cards that I was chasing as a kid, like you in the '90s. I would definitely chase after pretty hard, which was good because a lot of those '90s cards are quite affordable. So I was able to get a
Yeah.
lot of the cards that I wanted as a kid, and now I'm like, so what do I do next? And so I guess the next stage for me is basically what I like to call consolidation, where I'm going from tens of thousands of cards down to just a select few of the ones that I really want to keep. That's my plan anyway. But I like your approach much better.
It's not always easy, man. Like there was a lot of
Yeah.
times where I was kind of like, oh man, I want that right now. But I kind of had a bigger purpose, man. Like I think from the time I sold those first cards, and when I started to realize that the market was booming down here in New Zealand, I
Hmm.
just immersed myself in trying to learn as much as I could again around around the hobby and around buying and selling and some of the American market, like watching YouTube videos and seeing how the hype was just going off over there, staying
Yeah.
ahead of the game a little bit from what was happening here in New Zealand.
Very good, man. That's it's a smart way to go about it. I think sometimes I get a little bit too caught up in that FOMO, and I end up probably buying. And I remember when it was going through the hype period, and there are a couple of like when the market was at its absolute peak. I had a couple of real rough buys. Like I bought a PSA Jason Tatum rookie card. It was a Prism PSA 10, and I spent way too much money on it now. And I think I think it was like 590 or 620 or somewhere around there. It was a lot of money for, and it's 620
Yeah,
US as well. And now it's probably worth $200 if you're lucky. So it's like, oh,
yeah,
that's a painful one, man. So to have that
yeah,
kind of discipline that you do is definitely the smarter way to go about it. I just probably needed to take my lumps a little bit, and
yeah.
I'm slowly moving more towards your point of view.
Mm. Well, I've got this very elaborate spreadsheet.
Oh,
Maybe
great.
one day
Yeah.
I'll send you a picture of it, man. Like it's like 16 sheets long, and it's buying and selling prices, what I bought it for, everything like that. And like I think I mentioned earlier, like I had a bit of a higher purpose. My biggest thing I wanted to get from it was I wanted to buy a boat. So I was like,
Wow.
I'm going to use this as a bit of a tool to buy a boat. Um,
Wow.
and so I bought the boat last
No,
year in October.
really?
Yeah, yeah.
Congrats, man. Wow. Wow.
Thanks,
So
man.
how much money did you end up buying the boat for, if you don't mind me asking?
It was 80 grand, man.
No.
Yeah.
Wow, that's amazing. You're gonna have to show me how to do this, dude. This is definitely that's a lot of good learning. And when did you start doing this? 2021. You kind of started selling, I guess, from that
Yeah,
initial
man. So it was,
750.
yeah, from that initial 750, I just kind of bought and sold and traded my way up. I
Unreal.
kind of started my own business doing it. Like I had to declare it as a sole trader here in New Zealand because I just
Wow.
felt guilty about all the transactions, So
Mhm.
got in touch with the bank and set that all up. And so, yeah, it's all
Wow.
legit. And that was the story, man. So I've still got my PC, but,
Yeah,
and, I bought that along the way, but most of it was just buying and selling small cards,
that's
utilizing
incredible.
Facebook, Trade Me. And then also I did a lot of, I've done a lot of selling in the US too. So like grading, I did a lot of grading myself with PSA, SGC, Beckett, and then yeah, got to that stage. So sold off the things that I thought were cool but didn't fit in my PC.
Wow.
And then yeah, so that's the story that I was trying to say. It was quite
Dude,
interesting, but
that's
mm,
impressive. How many cards do you think you've sold to get to the 80 grand, man? There must be hundreds and
thousands,
hundreds
man.
of thousands and
Yeah,
thousands. Yeah, wow.
yeah, thousands.
And what kind of price range did you start off with? Like $2, $3 cards, or go to the mid range? What was your initial beginning, and how'd you move forward?
The key was the Pokemon cards. So
Wow.
I grew up and I had some Pokemon cards, and that 750 original was mostly NBA, to be honest.
Okay.
But the hype that was going on here, I was buying cards from America through bulk websites, which are very common now. TCG Player and off eBay and Facebook pages and things, and then sending them back home in bulk lots, and then just selling them in claim sales and things like that. And man, that was I just rinsed and repeated that over and over and over in those early days because the hype was so high. There was a lot of good margin in it there.
Hmm.
Every now and then I'd buy things that I'd like, and my kids would also get a real big buzz of seeing all the cards coming in and out, and they've got their own collections now, as you can imagine. But it
Very
started with
cool.
that, and then yeah, diversified it into NBA again, and then as you've seen on my Instagram, is a bit more UFC, which is the sport that I like to watch the most out of NBA and UFC. So
I really like that approach, man. The bulk. I've got a friend here in Turkey who kind of does that as well. He tries to get in the end. He was trying to buy packs to start off with, and then pack prices, just the new
mm,
stuff, and then the vintage stuff just went way too high. And he's like, "Look, there's no margin there." So he started basically buying bulk lots online and bringing them back here and selling them. And basically, he's been rinsing and repeating that strategy as well. So a really
yeah,
good way to
man.
start. What do you think your biggest individual sale is? Have you got that on your spreadsheet somewhere, or is it just
Yeah, I do have
a
them on my
collection of a
spreadsheet.
lot? Yeah.
It's more bulk. It's more like volume than individual cards. I do have a couple of Pokemon cards that I bought for under $100, graded them, and then sold for over $1,500 US.
Wow.
Things like that. Like in those early days, like when it was just coming into fashion again, like being a little bit ahead of the game there was really where you made all those kind of bigger wins, but nothing super duper. Like I never had a card that was like a $20,000 card or anything. It was just lots of stuff around that price point that's affordable here in New Zealand. Anywhere from a couple of bucks to $1,000 is probably the max that I've sold them in New Zealand, and the others have been offshore in America through some of the auction sites or whatever.
It kind of makes sense, man, because I feel like if you're going to get into that really big market, let's say more than $1,500, that the market for people who want to buy those kinds of cards, it just shrinks dramatically. Like I feel like 1,500
Mm,
is probably a limit, and then after that, it's like, well, I mean, who's going to be wanting to buy that? Just a select group of people, and you need to go through auction houses and that sort of thing. So it's
yeah,
probably the best way to go.
yeah, it's definitely just a networking. Like when I was doing it, I don't do it as much as I was back when I was on the grind because I was always focused on the boat. And then when the boat came, I still have my business set up, but it's not the same kind of intense like grind that I was in,
Hmm.
which is kind of nice. But it's also like I actually got a message today from an old customer that was like, "Hey, bro, do you want to buy some of these cards?" And I was like, "Yeah, man, give me a look." And so I went through and had a look at some prices, and I bought a few cards off him. So that was kind of cool. But it just kind of the customers and the people, like as you said, the community down here is really cool, man. Like
Agreed.
I like to think of someone that was reliable, gave pretty fair offers on things when I was buying them, and try not to gouge people when you're selling them. Like just make a good little cut. And that was kind of how it rolled.
Yeah, but at the same time, I guess you are the person who's providing that service of I've gotten this bulk lot. You're not sourcing it from the States. I've basically taken on all that risk to bring it into the country. So you need to have your cut too. It's part
Yeah,
of the
man, for sure.
service. Hmm.
Yep.
That's awesome, man. Wow, what a story! What a way to start.
Yeah.
So you haven't spent basically any amount of your own money in that sense. It's all been like this is the money I've invested into the business, and you've basically just rinsed and repeated that same philosophy from the beginning.
Yeah.
That's
So yeah,
impressive.
that was always the kind of game. Like that was the side hustle for me, like was let's see if I can do this without touching any of my family's money, my income
Wow.
money that, we spend for our day-to-day stuff. And my
Wow.
wife will tell you that, like the time that you spent, like you should have been getting paid for that, but it was satisfying as well because I enjoy it, like you enjoy having cards come in and come out and, like getting things ready for grading. And it's all a big, what it's like. The process is what it's all about.
100%, man. And I think just that idea of you starting your own business and starting it with basically zero money in front of you and being successful, that's impressive, man.
Yeah. Oh, it's
And
cool,
so,
man. Like I tell my friends, they're like, nah, that couldn't have been. And then you start to show them some stuff, and it's like, wow, that's pretty cool. And like I'm really proud of what I did, but it's still small fry to some of the stuff you hear about, eh?
still, I mean, I think that model is something that is, I guess, other people could replicate it. Like if I were to sit down and think about it, because now I think my knowledge of cards is good. I think my knowledge of the market is good. I could probably do the same thing, and I probably should. And I think you've inspired me to probably push a bit harder to do that because it's in my head. I'm like, so what am I going to do now that I'm here in Turkey? And I've started like we ran a couple of trade days where we advertised a little get together. A whole bunch of people came and basically looked at the cars that we had, and we were trading a little bit, but basically more it was selling. And to be honest, it's me selling my excess cards. I've got too many on my own PC. I
Yeah,
wanna I wanna basically get a smaller set of cards, but be able to get some money so that I can do other things with it. So that's
yeah,
definitely
man.
inspired me, man. I've got to be a little bit more, I guess, focused on how to do it. So how much time, if you think you could quantify that, like how much time per week were you spending on this hustle, mate?
Yeah, so I'm quite a busy person. I work full time as a school teacher, and then I'm a hockey coach down here, and I coached a lot of teams. So it was my thing that I did in the evening, man. Like I would, and during the day too. I'm not going to lie. There was times where you'd be watching auctions or
Yeah.
sending things out. But yeah, mostly in the evenings, I'd be watching YouTube videos and just making sure that I was kind of in touch with how things were going and like the current events. And then I honestly, it sounds cliche, but I just bought things that I liked and I knew that others would like, like
Yeah.
especially with Pokemon, which was a big part of the business. Like I grew up playing Pokemon, playing the games, watching the anime and that, and then you kind of know what the crowd favorites are, and you just go for those things.
So you're just basically buying the most popular Pokemons, but maybe the cards that also look good as well.
Yeah, for sure, and having
Yeah.
a bit of forethought there. Like if you have followed any Pokemon recently, the prices have gone bananas. Like it's
Yeah.
crazy. Like I've got a app that you track all your kind of cards in, and it's just the percentage of increase in the last 6 months is just ridiculous. So
It's
that's
uh,
been pretty
it's
cool. Like,
it's gone crazy, man. That market has gone nuts. I think
mm,
I think also the way that the Pokemon company releases cards and basically the different sets that come out, they're on top of the market, man. And because they're not printing too many, I think that they're they understand that supply and demand thing. And right now,
yeah.
I feel like it's kind of petering off, and I'm wondering what's going to happen with this next set that happens. But they know what they're doing, and that's for sure.
Oh, for sure, man, and it does peak and trough too, man. Like
Hmm.
that's the thing you got to be realize. It's you got to play the long game, um, and it doesn't take that long in Pokemon. Like the long game for some things takes a lot longer. But
Yeah.
yeah, Pokemon was a good one. NBA was I didn't really ever get into the modern NBA. I
Okay.
bought and sold a bit based on some of the NBA that I watch, as a bit of a hobby, but that was a little tougher for me because I didn't have the same knowledge. UFC, I think, is starting to get there.
All right.
And there's a real niche. There's a real niche for UFC, and I've made money on UFC, but it's also my passionate sport. Like I'll watch UFC events every Sunday if it's on, and you get attached to the fighters, and that's kind of my thing now. Like that's what I actually enjoy. So that's why most of my PC cards are UFC.
That's great, man. Actually, I've never had a UFC person on the show. So, do you want to tell us a little bit about UFC cards and maybe if you know a little bit about their history? I assume you do. Like with the early stuff was Tops, right? And then now it's Panini. And is it going back to Tops again? I'm not really sure about
Yeah,
what is happening right now.
yeah, that's pretty much it, man. Like so, UFC's been around for quite a while. The card started in around 2010.
Hmm.
Someone will probably correct me if I'm wrong, but it was around that time. And there was some really cool cards that came out back then. Some really cool patch autos and some really like weird ideas for cards. Like having like little bits of gold on them and metal and things like that. So there was some real cool stuff. Red autographs were massive in those early sets, and then it kind of carried on, got a little bit probably unpopular. Wasn't that popular. Didn't sell a lot, and then when the boom hit, Panini just took over and it just kind of exploded like everything else. And they started bringing out a lot more of those more modern rookies and things like that, which were really hot. They had Immaculate. They had oh, what else did they have? They had all sort, all the standard sets that come
All
out.
the standard
Just all
Panini
of the
sets.
big
That's right.
releases.
Yeah,
Yeah,
from
and so then
Don Russ all the way up to Immaculate, right?
yeah, man, and so it just came like that normal kind of cycle of just waiting for the new release and then jumping in on breaks or buying a couple of boxes and having a crack at getting some cards. But I've always been one that kind of just targeted the singles that I like.
Mm-hmm.
Um, because breaking, you know what it's like. It's awesome, fun, and it's exciting, exhilarating, but you're just kind of at a hiding to nothing at the end of the day. So
That's
yeah,
right.
that's UFC. Like going back to Tops now, and now that Dana White and Michael Rubin and those guys they're kind of in cahoots. It's just going to keep growing, I believe. And they had just recently the most expensive UFC card was a Ilia Topuria 1 of 1 that sold for over 100 grand US.
Wow.
So there's a market
Wow.
that's starting to grow there, which is exciting for me. That's holding some older cards.
Yeah, yeah. Well, it makes sense because I've seen that Dana's been online recently opening up packs of cards, but obviously he's been in cahoots with Ruben going, we need to promote it. What are we going to do? And so he's the guy who's opening up the cards, which is cool. I think it's great.
Yeah,
I
man.
see that you're a big Peter Yan fan, right?
I was originally, yeah.
Uh-huh.
So back in the early days, Peter Young was one of my favorites, and he was one of the prospects that I was kind of like, yeah, he's going to be that guy.
Yeah, for sure.
Um, I haven't put up any of my Izzy cards yet, but I do have a pretty big Izzy Israel
Nice.
Adesanya um, collection as well. I'll start
Yeah,
posting
great.
those, and you'll see them when they
Yeah,
pop
you
up.
should.
But he went to our school, man. So like where I teach, he actually
Oh, of
came here, and
course.
I was
Yeah.
at school with him for only a year. I was here, but my brother was his age and actually did some kickboxing with him. So, like I've been a big fan of his. Um, just supporting a local dude that he's pretty out there, but he's himself, and it's kind of cool. So he's another one I really collect.
Well, he's got a great style. Like he's very entertaining to watch, and like some of his big wins, like that win against Costa, was just iconic, man. Like, I
Yeah,
love
man.
that one so much because of like the pre-fight, and Costa was a scary dude, man. No one had beaten him before that fight. And Izzy just
Big Jack
wiped the
head.
floor with him, man. He ripped him. And Costa after the fight, oh,
Yeah,
I made excuses. Like, dude, you got smashed, man. Like, he
yeah,
beat
man.
up your front leg and then he just put you on the ground. It was great. Like Izzy's one of my
So good.
favorites. I really like our city kickboxing kids. We got some great fighters, man. Like, even though Kaikata might have lost recently, I liked watching him fight too because just they're entertaining strikers. So it's a good fun group of guys to watch. And obviously, being a Kiwi, you got to support anything that's from New Zealand. So there's
Absolutely,
there's a few
man.
of our
Like I
boys.
think I think those CKB guys are fantastic. I think Eugene
Yeah,
Behrman and the coaching crew there are incredible.
agreed.
And they're so humble, man. There's this so stereotypically Kiwi, humble,
Mhm.
understated, go about their business, grind hard, and get some amazing results on the world stage. So they should be super proud, eh?
Yeah, I agree. And even a kid like Dan Hooker right now, like he's just the cat's whiskers with everybody. It's like, man, he's been doing this ever since he started, man. He just loves to rumble. He's great fun, man. So
Absolutely,
yeah,
he's so
yeah,
good, man.
yeah. I agree, man. I'm definitely a big fan of the Kiwi style fighters. Who else do you PC, man?
Yeah, so my kind of my collection that you'll see is Hall of Fame fighters. So
Great.
I followed a guy. There was a guy that was doing it in the NBA. He was getting like the best card of every person in the NBA Hall of Fame. I was on some video I
Awesome.
was watching. I was like, man, that's a cool idea because with fighters they go in and out of kind of fame and success. But if you get all the Hall of Famers, you kind of have a story that goes along with each one. And so
Yeah.
I decided to collect a silver ink on card auto of all the Hall of Fame fighters.
Oh
That's what
wow.
my PC is. So
Wow.
I'm kind of sitting at around probably around 25 at the moment, and there's a lot more to go. But just trying to get the best one that I can for
Yeah.
each fighter, and you start with maybe an out of 99, and then you work down to a 50, and you find your way up to the originally. You get to a 101, which I got of Jose Aldo, which I was stoked about.
Oh wow. Oh wow. Are you going to be getting any McGregor cards? I don't know if you have any of his.
I haven't at the moment. I'm hoping that he drops out of favor a little bit more because he's
Seems
super
seems like
expensive.
he's that's right because he was really expensive in the boom, and I was like, man, it would be fun getting a McGregor card, and obviously he's dropped out of favor quite a lot recently with the shenanigans that he's been getting into. I guess it's put a long story
Yeah,
short,
man.
but I feel like his market is still probably going to be very high. I haven't even looked. I'm like, it's not there yet, but because I assume he's still
Not that
quite popular with people.
For sure, and I think like love him or hate him, he is what brought the UFC to the general public.
For
His
sure.
charisma and his like when he's on the mic, he says it in such an inspiring and captive way. Like captivating way. So he's a legend, man. Double champ. You can't take that away from him. He'll be a Hall of Famer one day, and I
Yeah.
think hopefully I'll get one of his silver ink autos, or maybe I'll have to get someone to do that for me.
All right, man. Do you want to show us some of your cards? Let's see what you got.
Yeah, bro. So I've got a few things here. I thought I'd start with the card that I pulled when I was a young fella in the
Nice.
'90s that
Yeah.
actually started it. Here's another funny story, man. So where I live, there's a golf course right next to the hockey turf where I played growing up, and
All
so
right.
there's a stream that runs around the golf course where the golfers will hit the golf balls in. And so we'd go in after hockey and we'd go and get all the
Yeah.
golf balls out,
Yeah.
clean them all up so they're
I
nice
know
and
the story.
polished. I'd get mum to make some muffins. And so we'd go and get my mum to make some muffins. I'd take a muffin and a golf ball and sell them to the golfers, that's
Great
$5.
idea. Great
And
idea.
so like you'd make about $60 off your dozen, whatever it was. And then you go straight down to Ray Orden's card collectibles and go and buy some packs. And so we went down there and bought packs and I've still got the original. So from that binder that I had this Grant Hill card that was super awesome at the time. It's not worth next to nothing now, but
Yeah.
back those days worth about $150. And I was like,
Oh
man, that's
wow.
the card. So this card here is like his
Oh
co-rookie
yeah,
of the year
very
card.
cool.
You
Very
would have seen that one.
cool.
And
Yeah, for
so
sure.
early on in the days, I got that graded from CGA over in Oz, and I was just like, man, that's going to be forever in the PC. If it's a coaster, it's a coaster. It just means so much to me. That was the one that really started it. So
Awesome.
that one's pretty cool. What
So
else
those
can I
those
show
those
you,
are like
man?
those see-through acetate backs, right? Can you show us the back of that one? Is it like the same picture in the back? I can't remember.
Yeah, it's the same picture on the back,
Yeah.
but it's just kind of like just slightly different.
Yeah, very cool. Very cool. Yeah, I
Yeah.
remember those. Because they
So he was
started doing those
co-rookie of
those
the
yeah, they started doing those EX cards like that too, right? They had that sky kind of background with
Yeah, man.
the cutout of the players too. Yeah, very cool cards.
Yeah. I had a Kobe one of those, and I managed to move off it, but it would have been one that I would have liked to keep. Like I'd still want a really nice Kobe in my collection, just
Yeah.
because he was so cool, man. Like the things he did. I did see that on your Instagram. You said that you like to PC a bit of cricket, and Shane Warne was one of your guys.
That's right. Yeah, yeah, man.
I'm exactly the same. Shane Warne was probably is probably still my favorite cricketer of all time, and I
Yeah, of
kind of got
course.
this one here, which
Yeah,
is a
great
on
man.
card auto of
Yeah,
Shane
that's
Warne, and
awesome, dude. And
that one will probably get graded.
that set is I want to say that's Tendulkar's international rookie card set, that Futera set, right?
That 96, yeah,
Yeah.
man, like yeah, he was cool. So I kind of when he passed away, I was like, man, I got to get again collect the things that you like. Shane Warne was one that I just had to have. I'll get all the CKB boys on card autos as well, just in
Yeah, dude.
person autos from them. I've already got a couple, but we're working on the rest. Man, I'll show you. So this is the card I loved of Izzy's, and this is what started my PC of Izzy is this
Oh
green
yeah.
pulsar, the fireworks
Yeah, very cool.
insert. So I've pretty much got all of the green pulsars out there, out of 25. I've got all of them in a PSA from 9 to 10. There's
And
probably about 10 of them, I think, 2 and 12, something like that.
that pose too on that card, was that the one where he was fighting Silva? And they're both
Yeah,
standing in the middle of the rings with their one hand behind his back, and the other hand is just kind of pointing and just welcoming him to fight. It was cool, dude. That was a
yeah,
great
man.
moment.
It's a throwback to that Naruto episode. So
That's
that's
right.
that's Izzy all over, man. Like he's just a anime
100%.
kid, eh?
Yeah.
So I've got a few of Izzy, and like another one of his is same in that same kind of green pulsar as his auto.
Yeah,
Really
great.
tried hard to get this in the PSA 10. I graded 3 of them myself. They all came back 9s. So I sold the other 2, but that was the nicer auto, so I kind of got that one in
Yeah,
the
very
PC
cool.
as
And
well.
and Izzy's got a great auto too, because you see a lot of
Yeah,
people in basketball and football and fighting. The autos are not nice, but Izzy, you can tell that he takes pride in signing a good auto. So it's great.
he got better and better at it too. Like,
Yep.
and I think he's what he's like. He's quite particular with things, and I think
Hmm.
he will only sign in gold ink if he's doing personal orders, which doesn't fit well
Really?
in my PC. So I think I'll
Ah,
have a chat with him. If eventually if I get to catch up with him at some point, which no doubt will happen sometime down the track.
well,
But
well, what a lot of people say about him too is that obviously when he's in front of the camera, he's putting on a show. If he wants to play the heel, he'll play the heel. But when apparently in person, he's just the loveliest guy. So I think that he probably do it too.
yeah, man, if I explained it to him, like
Yep.
yeah, I think he'd understand. But yeah, no, he's definitely a polarizing personality. I
Yeah.
think the
100%.
Yanks love to hate him, but I think down here in New Zealand we kind of have to love him.
Yeah.
So yeah, the other one, like as I was mentioning, I won't go straight to the Grail, but this was the first of the UFC silver ink autos that I kind of got that was quite a big card, and for me was a bit of a turning point in my collection. Like George St. Pierre was, when I was kind of first starting to watch UFC, was the guy. Like he was just
GSP.
unreal. My wife loves to watch him. Like, he's a good looking dude. That's probably why. But he won everything, like, and so like I got this card and I was like, man, that's kind of epic. So this is
That's
a silver
great,
ink
dude.
auto of his. It's a framed auto, so they've got like a gold kind of outside border.
Mm-hmm.
They do them with a baseball as well, I believe. So
All
that's
right.
out of 15 on card auto, 9.5, 10 auto grade. So that
That's
one
great, man.
was just epic, man. I can't remember what I paid for it. I think it was probably around 400 US. But I like to think that's gone way up now, with
Makes
the
sense.
kind of with how things are growing. So that was the first one that I was like, yeah, man, I've got that. That's the crown jewels almost. And then I was looking for a Anderson Silva because he was, again, it's the same thing. Around that time he was just the champ, didn't lose, and just had a real long streak. And so I managed to find the same kind of card of Silvers with the 2 out of 5.
So, wow.
Eight, it's an 8.5 with a 10 auto, and this one, actually, there's a bit of a story about this one. So
Uh-huh.
I only got this one last year, and I did what I kind of thought I would never do. So, yeah, you buy things off people in Facebook and stuff, and I haven't had too many issues, man. Like, I haven't been ripped off too often. But I really thought I was going to get ripped off with that card. So I negotiated with them. I think I saw it on eBay, and I managed to find him on offline on Instagram or Facebook or something. And I was like talking to him for ages. And like, bro, let's do this. And he was like, yeah, man, come up with a price. And I'd paid him. Through like a Telegraph, like a Wise transfer, because I was like, man, let's
Okay.
save the fees. I wanted to get it cheaper. And he has a business, and so I was like, oh man, like he seems legit. I did a bit of vouch searching and things like that, like you kind of do, but he kind of just ghosted me after I'd paid, and I was like, man, that's gone, like that money and the card. And I was like, man, I'm gonna have to rub this guy's nose through the dirt, like really hype it up that he'd rip me off. But
Mm-hmm.
to his credit, man, it turned up, and it turned up to my box over in America. I ship my cards
Okay.
for shipping things too, and turned up, and I just couldn't be happier. Like I thought I'd lost out on the card and the money, and then now I've got the card. So happy days.
With the with being in New Zealand and buying a whole bunch of stuff on eBay, you just mentioned ship my cards. Is that what you still use to bring your cards back to New Zealand and that kind of thing? Would that be your approach, just to get a big bulk lot, put it all into one single big package, and then they'll send it back to New Zealand? Is that the strategy there?
That was what I did early on. Um,
Hmm.
I definitely use ship my cards as
A hub.
uh, a hub. Yeah, yeah. They offer a really great service for international customers. It just means you can amalgamate things so that you can ship them back rather than just shipping individual items back, and that's just a lot more
Hmm.
cost effective. And also the owner of that company, Brian Wells, he's just awesome. Like, I've had a few times where I've sold cards and he's gone and dropped them off for me. He's taken cards of mine to card shows. He'll do that like a
Wow.
consignment kind of thing, and he goes above and beyond. So I couldn't recommend them any more highly, to be honest with you. There's shipping and everything's super professional. They've got a massive vault. Everything's photographed. So yeah, if you're international, Ship My Cards I highly recommend them.
Definitely good news for our international listeners, especially those from New Zealand, because I know a lot of Kiwis are wondering how they can get into the US market. So, what you would probably do, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, but you would buy something on eBay in the States, and then your shipping address would be basically to the Ship My Cards place, and you'd probably add that it's under your name, and they'd be able to figure it out from there. Is that right?
Yeah, man. Yeah, that's exactly it. So you just kind of set your address at the Ship My Cards address. They also have an address in Oregon, which is a tax-free state. And so
Hmm.
what that means is if you're buying expensive cards, you can kind of skip the tax, which will save you a fair bit of money. It costs you a little bit more to enter it into your box. They photograph everything as it arrives, and you kind of just get updates. And they've got a really good kind of customer service system in their interface as well. So
Great. That's really good. That's really good advice for our Kiwis and people who are living outside the US to be able to, I guess, buy cards from the States, you know? I think there's
Yeah, man.
another way that you could probably do it too. You could go through your ComC account. And I think by and large that works pretty well. I've just had one issue, and that was with a buddy of mine who would buy cards on eBay and send them to ComC. And what would happen is ComC would open the package and you'd have the card in there, but then the seller might give a few freebies, and then
Mm,
ComC would charging him to put them into his account as well. And the guy's like, I didn't even want those cards, and it's pretty
yeah,
clear that this is the card that I want. Why can you not just either throw them away or not charge me for those extra cards on top? But they said there was nothing they could do, which I found pretty
yeah,
disappointing because I do like ComC too.
yeah, man. I use ComC as well. I use it for a slightly different for a different purpose, more purchasing rather than storing.
Hmm.
I also use a PSA vault. I've got the PSA vault going. So when you're sending cards over to the US to get graded, there's I'll have some for my PC. I'll have some to bring back to New Zealand to sell, and then I'll have some that I intend on selling in the States. So that PSA vault, now that it's kind of up and running, is a really good service, and they are starting to get more traffic with their eBay store as well. So you can sell straight through them, which I haven't done yet. I kind of use my own eBay account to sell my vaulted cards
Okay,
because the
because
the payment system's better through eBay rather than through PSA at the moment.
yeah, I use ComC to sell mine. It's just it feels a little bit easier for me, but they take a decent chunk out when they sell it through their online auctions and that sort of thing too. But they're good to sell through as well. And if you just have your card up for sale in general, they can move sometimes as well, which is good.
Yeah, man. Yeah,
Hey, can I just get back to that GSP card that you had for a sec? I
yeah, man.
I feel like recently there's been a lot of press, and maybe it's just the algorithm just showing me a lot more GSP stuff. But you're seeing a lot of stuff from when he was a fighter and what he was like, and I think he's got a lot of respect in that field as well. And I heard a story of him when he was, I want to say he was back in France, and he said that he took up basically mixed martial arts because he was getting bullied at school. And so he started
Mm.
basically using it to defend himself. Anyway, years later, he bumped into the guy that was bullying him, and he was homeless on the street. And the dude, when he met him, was just like, "Oh my god, he's going to give me a hiding. He's going to beat me up." And GSP's just like, "What are you doing here, man? What's going on here, man?" And so he basically gave him some cash, but also he basically helped find him a place to sleep for the night and tried to set him up. And then the guy couldn't
Mm.
believe it. He was stunned. And then a couple of years later, he was able to basically figure things out. And he went back to GSP and he's like, "Thank you so much for just caring about me, man. You didn't have to. I was an asshole to you at school, you know." So I
Yeah,
think a guy like that definitely deserves a lot of respect, man. He's top shelf.
100%, man. Like that's such a cool story. I think like my respect for him was just his discipline. Like he
Mhm.
was a very humble kind of character. He was not ever angry or anything on the mic. He just respect the hell out of him for the way that he went about his business, and then the titles and his record, and at that time were just unprecedented. And even now, people are debating that he was the GOAT.
Yeah,
Because of just the way that he was, and the people that he beat against drug cheats. Like Johnny Hendricks and stuff. They were quite obviously on drugs, and he was in there fighting them. And that period of time with the fighters, Mark Hunt, from New Zealand's going through all
that's
of
right.
those lawsuits and things like that at the moment. But he kind of rose above it all at that time, and he's still one of my favorites. I love that card, man. I think that is a PC card for life.
Great. Who else you got to show us, man? And in fact, before you do show us, I'm going to ask you a big question then, and you just kind of who would be your, we'll call it Mount Rushmore of UFC fighters. So rather than just giving a single goat, who are your top four UFC fighters of all time?
GSP,
Yeah.
GSP is definitely on there. I think Jose Aldo's on there.
Wow.
Um, Now there's two debatable ones. I think Khabib and John Jones are both debatable for different reasons.
Yeah.
I think John Jones, obviously has the best record and fought all the great guys, but when you have a drug kind of infraction on your record, I think that kind of mars your, kind of tars your reputation a little bit. So
Hmm.
he's right there, man. Like, he's done incredible things in the UFC. And he's not a person that I think is as stand up as GSP, but you can't take away what he's done in the octagon. So
Yeah,
he's right there. Khabib probably retired too soon. He had his reasons. It's fair. His record was incredible, but he kind of didn't really fight enough of the best fighters, I don't think.
I
So
agree. I agree.
he's in the same kind of situation. Um, I I think, there's the pioneers as well. Like Hoist Gracie and Randy Couture and those guys that were just ahead of their time, man. So like, it's really difficult. I think in terms of the best, you've definitely got GSP and Aldo up there. I think there's some fighters now. Like, I think Ilia Topuria is going to be. He's going to be, by the end of his career, I think he'll be on that Mount Rushmore. I think
Yeah, good.
he's exceptional. Yeah, and Marab Davashvili as well as someone that's just doing amazing things. Like, the new generation of fighters is something else. So yeah, I definitely have those two on. I think John Jones is probably there. I'm probably forgetting a few. Maybe I should look
Probably
down
Mighty
here.
Mouse.
I think personally, bro, I love Mighty Mouse. I think as a fighter's fighter, he's definitely on there as well, man. What he did for that kind of light weight class, unreal. Like,
Yeah.
and unrespected. Like,
It's like video
the
game stuff, man. The guy's crazy.
he's under the radar, man. Yeah, no, he's up there for me too, bro. Nice one for pointing that out.
Yeah, I was like, man, because Mighty Mouse was like probably the most beautiful fighter to watch fight, man. He could do anything. He was unbelievable.
Yeah, man, and it's cut from the same cloth, man. Super nice guy, as
Yeah,
well.
agreed, agreed, agreed.
Yeah.
Who else you got to show us, man? Show us some more of your cards, buddy.
All right, I've got this one, man. This one was one that it's a bit of a weird one. So I think this is from I think the patch is from either a glove or some canvas. It's really hard to tell. And normally with these cards, they're all one of ones, but they didn't have the autos on them as they come out from the set. But this one that I got from Jose Aldo does have his auto
No,
on it,
wow, that's
and so
awesome.
that one of one there, bro, is like, for me again. Like, I wanted him because he's a Hall of Famer. You know how
Yeah,
highly I think of him,
hmm,
and just, man, what a cool card! It's so unique. None of the other
agreed.
ones from that set. Yeah, they what are they called then? Museum memorabilia. But none of them have
Yeah,
autos on them in the one of one, but that one does. So I think that's kind of special. And he
wow.
did that with tops rather than, like just a hand signed one. It came in the box like that. So
Wow.
pretty
Does it
cool,
have it
that
on the
one.
back? Does it say that it's authenticated on the back? That's
No,
strange,
it
huh?
doesn't.
Because they normally do.
Well, it's because he did it. I think he did it out of accident. Like, it wasn't supposed to be signed, but he
Huh.
signed it. So yeah, I will get that one graded with. I'll probably put it in Beckett because most of my other ones are. Um, I'll show you a couple of other ones that I've got in that same set. So I've got Forrest, Forrest Whitaker. Oh, sorry, Forrest Griffin, and
Chuck
Iceman
Liddell.
Chuck Liddell.
Yeah.
So those two again. When I started watching UFC, those guys were there. Iceman was so cool to watch. He was just such a scary dude.
Yeah,
Knockout
man.
power from a kind of, white dude, like crazy. And then
Uh-huh.
Forrest Griffin and Bonner, their fight was just iconic. Again, another kind of moment in UFC history that brought it to the forefront. So that was pretty cool. So that's them. I've got a couple of other ones that I haven't got slabbed up yet that are kind of in my collection. Henry Cejudo and Amanda Nunez.
Wow, Nunez.
Um,
Cool. Yeah, Cejudo too,
so
man. Yeah,
those again,
very
silver ink. What do we got out of 10 and out of 15? So those ones will get slabbed up at some point, but they're sitting in the PC. I've got a heap of Pokemon stuff here, but I thought you might be interested in these ones, bro. You've seen them on my Instagram. I
Oh
picked
yeah,
these
the
little
rugby
bad
league
boys up.
ones. Yeah, they're awesome, dude. I saw those too, and obviously you must be a Queensland fan then, because those two
I'm
guys
I'm
are
actually not. I'm actually an Aussies
no.
supporter. But the reason is that, like, through that dynasty of Origin, like those two, Cooper Cronk, Cameron Smith, Greg Inglis, like those four really just unreal and just unbeatable. Like when they're at the peak of their powers.
Agreed.
So I've got huge respect for those guys, and the reason why I have those cards is I actually won one in a Raz,
Oh,
and so I
really?
was like, man, get some more. So I'm on the hunt for the Greg Inglis,
Yeah, I'll bet,
and
man.
I think the other ones will come. The Cooper Cronk and the Cam Smith will come, but they're not out yet. So those ones are pretty. Those ones are pretty cool. Good for the Kiwis and Aussies. Those ones.
I like that your PCs it's mainly UFC, but then you've got just cars that you like, man. And I think that's the route that I'm going. I'm going with like instead of this giant volume of stuff that I haven't really been appreciating or even looking at often, it's less and it's just the cards of players that I like. Like I've got I even got just a couple sitting here now. So there's a Sachin Tendulkar.
That's
That's his rookie
epic,
card from the Futera one, man. I bought that at the
right?
Wellington card show and I sent it to PSA and it's come back a 10. So it
That's
was
so
just
cool,
great.
man.
Yeah. So
That's the stuff
down in
I would
Wellington,
I would definitely buy that.
and that's the thing. If you went to that card show, you come up with some real gems, man. And I don't think that you can get them if you're just looking online. Sometimes you have to go to the show physically and see how you do.
Yeah,
There was
man.
also a guy in New Zealand, and I'm hoping to get him on to interview him. He was in contact with the family, and he hasn't told me all of the details of the story yet. He's trying to basically get the thumbs up from the family to talk about it. But from what I can tell, they used to own a card store down on the west coast, so in the middle of
Right.
nowhere. And so there were all of these old like dynamic marketing boxes, the ones with the Jonah Lomu rookie card. So
Yep. Yep.
I opened up two boxes of the stuff and I pulled 12 Lomus and none of them have got a
Wow.
PSA 10. The highest I got are nines. I've got a
Yep.
bunch of eights like this one, but the fun of opening those boxes was great. Another box that I bought was another Futera cricket card. And in 1 in 10 boxes, they give you this Shane Warne hat trick card, which it
Oh,
graded
that's
out a
cool.
9, but it's really, it's such a cool card, dude. So
Nice,
there's my
bro.
Shane Warne to show off as well. But
Yeah,
I
that's
think that's
cool.
the route. I think that's the route that I'm taking. I'm finding players and people that I want a PC rather than just have this big giant box of. And I literally am sitting there boxes full of cards, and I'm like, let's try and sell them off either as bulk lots or just sell them off at different shows and see how we go. But I'm going to stick with
Yeah.
just a few cards of certain guys that I like. And for example, with Steven Adams, I've got a bunch of his cards, but I bought the one card of his that I really like. It's him in front of
Yeah.
the New Zealand flag, and it's got his auto on it. And that's all I need for a Steve Adams collection. You don't
That's
need
cool, man.
50 cards of his, just a one really nice one of his. And I think that's the route that
I
I'm
think
slowly taking.
I have something similar actually. Let me see if I can find it. So, speaking about like just simple with a Kiwi flag, I got a. Where did I put it, man? It should be in here somewhere. I've got all my cards strewn across the place. You know what it's like.
Oh, I know what it's like. I'm literally looking for mine now.
This one. So going back to my original kind of NBA cards, my favorite player growing up was Shaq. So I do have a pretty good Shaq collection. I
Nice.
was going to do a whole lot of like Shaq refractors, and I do have some, but I'm really keen to kind of move off of those now and maybe get like a beam team with his auto on it.
Yeah.
Because I think that's that card. If I get it, it's his rookie card. It's his best rookie card in my opinion. And then an auto, I might be able to get one of those for the price I could get for all of my refractors. But going back to the on-card auto, that's the Dan Hooker,
Yeah. I saw
with
that one.
the Kiwi flag in the background. Like I love that card. I wish he had all his tats on him, but it's kind of I'll get a pre-tat and a post-tat auto. I think.
Awesome. Here's a Kiwi flag one here, mate. Look, it's Ryan Fox.
Nice.
I think I was the
How
first
good's
one to
he
get this
going?
one graded. He's going great, man. So I got this graded before he started going good. I was like, love to get me a Ryan Fox card. So I bought this one in front of the flag. I love it, dude. So this one got a 10 as well.
2024. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Upper
So
deck.
it's a, yeah.
Yeah, that's sick.
Yeah. Got a few
Love that, man.
few
I
more
love that.
Kiwis to show you as well. Here you
You
go.
got good
Here's
taste, bro.
here's a Kirk Penny in his Timberwolves uniform.
That's
Isn't that
so
cool?
good. I love
And
that,
what
man.
I'll show you one last one. This is our Sean Marks, man.
Yeah.
Old
He's done
NBA.
so well for himself. That's
He's done
epic.
great. Yeah, that's great,
Is
man. Like
that
I mean,
is that
so this
on
is
card, that auto?
uh yeah, it is, man. Yeah, it is.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah, so
That's
that's
awesome.
that's that's our guy Sean Marks as well. I mean, he's done great for himself. I mean, I still don't know how he has a job right now because the Nets, I don't think they've done very well in the draft or even in their trades lately. It's like, how has that guy still got a job? But he
Yeah,
must
he's
be a
just
nice guy.
nice guy, super well respected professional, and I tell you what, like maybe I'm a little bit biased, but Kiwis tend to do pretty well all over the world, no matter what they're
Agreed.
doing. So yeah, that's cool, man. Far out. You got some really cool cards, bro. I love that. I love that.
Thanks,
I,
man.
I love that you've got the ones that have a little story. Like finding that Sachin Tendulkar at a Wellington card show. I think that's so good.
Yeah, which is why I'll try and encourage you to see if you can get up and see a few shows yourself. Like we talked just before we started recording, and the New Zealand card collecting scene, man. If you can get to one of those shows, it really is worth it. So yeah, the Auckland Card Show comes up. I think it's the 9th and the 10th of August. It's just
Yeah,
great, man.
man.
I had a great time with my daughter. Basically, that's where her Pokemon journey began. And they have heaps of giveaways too. So I got like they were opening up packs, and before they said what was in the pack, they're like, oh, you can get the pack, and it was for my daughter, and so I it was a packet of Flux, and it got a I got a Dyson Daniels gold card number to 10. It was a rookie card too. And so
Nice.
as soon as we got it, we just jumped over to CGC. They had a stand at the show, and I just sent it straight in to get graded, and it got a 10. It was great.
Mm, it's so good. I think that's really cool that we've got. Was it CGC or PCG or PCG?
So CGC were there last year,
Okay.
and I think this year, from what I just read today, there are going to be 4 grading companies at the show. There'll be CGC, PCG, PSA, and not Arena, another one of the smaller labels, but one of those other ones are going to
Oh,
be there too.
Ace. It was Ace grading. Ace
Ace
grading.
grading is going to be there. There it is. I knew it began
That's
with an
right.
A.
Yeah, I remember. Yeah, I saw the advertisement. Yeah.
Hmm. Yeah,
Yeah.
they're
That'd
great,
be
man.
that's
So
awesome.
if you can somehow manage to drive your way up to Auckland and see it, go
Yeah.
for it. Otherwise, the Wellington one will be probably around April next year, I assume, and that one is great too.
Yeah, man. I'll try and get up to the Auckland one. I've got a buddy down here that I kind of do some dealings with and help him out. And he and I'll probably just go and shoot up and do that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because it's a 2 day event this year, so that's the thing you need to remember as well. And
Might take the kids up.
I would buy the VIP pass mainly
Yep.
because you can get in half an hour early, and there will be queues. But if you can get in that VIP queue, they're going to be selling Pokemon, like all the big labels are there, but they're selling them all at retail too. So if you want to
Oh,
buy
man.
boxes of the stuff and hold on to it, then you can do it that way too.
Yeah, that's pretty epic. Yeah. I do have a little bit of a sealed collection kind of going on, and again, you just watch those prices go nuts. It's just ballistic.
Yeah, and that's what I would probably do too, is just buy some at retail and sell on them for a few years, and you know you're going to get your money back and more, right?
Oh, you can't really lose at the moment with the way that Pokemon goes, eh?
Hmm.
Mm.
Anything else you want to show us, mate?
I just thought like I'd just show you a couple of things. I've got a big collection of PSA 10 Charizards. There's probably
Oh wow,
about 40 of them. Um, but I won't go into all of those. But I just think, again, like the nostalgia, the things that I buy are the things that I remember. So watching the games, playing the games, watching the anime. Like I've got some Ash Ketchum cards,
oh man,
PSA
my daughter will
10s.
go nuts for those. Wow.
Like it's just the stuff that you kind of brings back a memory. Like
Yeah.
that's the stuff that I collect. I got Jesse and James from
Oh
the anime, and
wow,
then
no way.
Ash and Red and Blue from the games, but Ash and Gary, which are pretty cool. And then again, I just kind of collect things that I like. I like the look of. So that Mew and Mewtwo art there, I bought when they're about. I probably bought these for about $40 a card. But man, they've like a PSA 10 version's probably it's over $1,000 New Zealand right now.
Wow.
And then the legendary birds, which was just a promo. Both of these are actually just promos that you get in a box.
That's right.
They're gone ballistics. The prices are crazy, man. These were selling for about $30 a card when I had them, and I think this PSA 10 is probably over 500, 400
Wow.
bucks at the moment, New Zealand. So
Wow.
again, it just goes nuts, eh? Like Yeah.
And that's
Well,
all
this
down to you picking cards that you like and also the way that they look too, right? Yeah.
yeah, man. And like for me, it's always about I like this card here, or both of those cards. I just like the way they look. I just
Hmm.
think they're really cool art. That's what started me liking them, and yeah, the prices came later. Like it went a bit boom in the last wee while, and they kind of increased. But to me, they're just worth what I paid, and got some good grades. Sell off your PSA nines. As that was my kind of tactic. Sell off your PSA nines. People, what a great gift is giving someone a PSA nine. Slabbed up card with some cool artwork. A kid loves it. My kids have got a whole lot of PSA nines and tens and eights and all sorts of things. So
Awesome.
they'll be able to tell the stories of that when they're my age. So it's
Yeah,
pretty
great.
cool.
Do they collect sports cards or are they into Pokemon?
Mainly Pokemon. My my youngest son, he was a Spider-Man fan, so he got some Spider-Man cards and some
Cool.
Spider-Man graded cards. And my eldest, he's more Pokemon. Um, the youngest one's now into football, so I've been just buying him Messi cards and Ronaldo cards, and
Great.
yeah, that kind of stuff. So it's just the stuff that they like. They show their mates, they're like, "Whoa, how did you get that case on it, bro?" And I'm like, "My dad does it all. My dad does it all."
That's great, man. Anything
Yeah.
else to share, or do you reckon we're done, buddy?
Pretty much tapped out. Like I've got heaps of cards, but we'll be here all night, man. Like I'll show you a couple of ones. Like again, this ones that kind of weren't worth that much, that have gone up. So this one here, this Charizard special delivery Charizard,
Hmm.
was a promo that you'd get from buying things from the Pokemon Center, and
Okay.
so I bought quite a few of these off eBay. They were very difficult to grade. Um, I think I probably got I graded about 7 or 8 of them, and I got 3 PSA 10s, and the rest were nines.
Hmm.
And so I shifted off the rest of them. But this card's gone nuts, man, in terms of price. Um, this one here is a little bit older, 2016. This one here just recently gone nuts as well. Wasn't the most popular card when the Evolutions set came out. But yeah, again, just like the look of it.
Yeah,
and
yeah,
it went
it's a
nuts.
smart play, man. I talked to
Yeah.
another Pokemon card collector a few times, and that's basically been his deal as well. It's like look at the cards, see what artwork you like the best, and very likely the
Mm,
artwork that you like, even if it's underpriced now, it's going to jump in value down the line. And we've made a couple of
yeah,
prospects of certain Pokemon cards in that 151 set. Like I really like that
yeah,
Poliwhirl card for some reason, man. So I'm trying to pick
yeah,
up as many of those as I can, try and get them graded, and maybe just hold on to them for a little while, and hopefully their prices will
yeah.
spike. That kind of thing.
I
It's,
think
I
that
think he's going to make a play like that.
I think you're bang on, man. I think that set and as a whole is just going to be one for the ages. I think
Yeah.
anything that you get out of that set will be worth good money later down the track, and it already starting. It's already starting to go nuts, and it's not even
Hmm.
that old.
Yeah,
So
that's right.
yeah, that's a good play. I wish I had held more than what I did. I sold a Black Velocity of Elia Taporia. This is going to UFC again. I sold it. I think I bought it for about $200 New Zealand and sold it for 350. But after the sale of that big card, it's just gone nuts.
Oh,
But
that's
that's what
gonna
happens,
hurt.
eh?
It happens too, man. Yeah, it does happen too. But I think overall, if you look at the pluses and minuses, and you think that you started by getting your binder and selling $750 worth of cards to being able to buy yourself a boat that's worth
Yeah.
80K, that's ridiculous, man. So there's definitely a lot of learnings for all of us, myself included. It's definitely
Mm.
inspiring, that's for sure. So thanks for being on the show, man. It's been a lot of fun.
Yeah, man. Thanks for having me, bro. It's been absolute pleasure to talk to you and share some crazy yarns and hear your stories too, man. It's awesome to see your cards too, bro.
Thanks, buddy. Well, I appreciate it, and hopefully we can catch up again soon.
Absolutely. Anytime.
All right.